Alright, cool. So, what's up, everybody? This is Gabe the Barber 9, and this is gonna be a tutorial on how to cut waves. Of course, not saying this is the only way, but the way I do it. So, as you can see here, he's been woofing for quite some time. First, what you want to do is you want to brush the waves or comb the waves out so that they're not super flat. I'm using my Wahl flat top comb to comb it out. It's my favorite comb to use. Cool, so we got everything combed out. Again, this is going to be a taper. I'm going to be using color enhancement, and I'll be leaving a link down below on everything that I used and where to get it. Alright, cool. So right now I have, I believe it is my number 4 guard, and I'm going with the grain, with the way the hair is being brushed. And so right here, you know, you just gonna go with the way of the hair is growing. You don't want to go against the grain, because if you go against the grain, you're going to leave a big hole. I've done it many times, and I'm not gonna ever say that I've never done it recently. I mean, I'm very cautious on what I do, but you can never be too sure. So again, just brush it all out, comb it all out, and then go ahead and go in with your guard that you're gonna trim it with, and just be very cautious with the cowlicks and the curvature of the head. You just don't know what's hiding under there. Alright, cool. So right here, I'm going to be using my Wahl cordless detailers ally. I'm going to be making the first guideline. It's going to be kind of a high taper, mid taper, I guess you could say. So what I do is I start off by making the guideline, and then I'm going to go in on the 2 line, and I'm going to start lining up behind the ear just to clean it up. I'm not going to really line it up just as if I was finished. I'm just going to barely touch it all up just to kind of get the hair out of the way. So right here I have my Wahl cordless magic clips, the metal version, with it all the way open. Going to be going about an inch almost up, just a little more than half an inch. Now I have my 1 guard on, and I'm going to go with it open, and I'm going to be using a scooping motion, like a C motion, to blend that just a little bit, not making a thick line. Same goes for the 1.5 guard, all the way open, so it's basically a short 2. And when I get to the parietal ridge of the head, I'm barely scooping out. Using clipper over comb, pulling out the comb, just barely getting the little bit of hair that's sticking out. Going back with my 1.5, oh actually 1, so sorry. And lever plane, open and close, flicking using corners of your blade to blend that out. Now I'll be using the Wahl magic clip closed, using the corners of my blade, and I will be right here. As you can see, my thumb is constantly moving the lever up and down. Alright, cool. So for this side, gonna be, you know, basically the exact same steps from the other side. We're not done with that side just yet, but gonna be taking the Wahl cordless detailers, going with my first guideline, Wahl magic clips all the way open, about a half an inch, almost an inch. One guard all the way open, scooping out, not really going into the waves, just barely getting a little bit of a guideline right there. When you're doing this, be very cautious not to cut into the waves, because you will go too high and you will cut off a wave. Using my number 1.5 guard all the way open, I'm going to be using a C motion, getting almost all the way up to the parietal ridge of the hair of the head. And all I use my 1.5 for, you guys, is just to barely make a little bit more of a guideline. Right here you can see that I'm using my Wahl flat top comb, and I'm going in and I'm pulling out at an angle, just barely cutting off that little bit of that wave, just to blend it in just a little bit. Now I have my 0 guard on, and it's all the way open, and I'm barely using the corners, barely flicking out that guideline that I made with my 1 open. Slowly but surely you can see that the fade's coming together really nice. Cool, now the clipper has no guard on there and it's just open and closed. Always brushing, keep brushing the hair back into place. Again, you guys, go on Instagram and follow me at Gabe the Barber 9 on Instagram, and follow my Facebook page at Barber Gabe's Fades here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So right here I'm going to be holding the ear down with my index finger, and I will be going in with the Wahl detailers and just getting the second 2 line. Be very gentle over the ear because it's very sensitive, and many clients have told me when I first started that I was going a little too rough, and you know, I'd go back and look at the haircut and they'd have a little bit of lines or a little bit of a cut, you know, so be very gentle around that area. Cool, so right here just using my detailers just to get those little hairs, you know, that's what they're for, detailers. Cool, so right now we're going to be moving on to the back of the taper using the cordless detailers again. And right here what I do is I use the back of the ears as my measurements, as the bottom of the ear as basically almost a low taper, the middle of the ear as a mid, and almost the top of it as a high, almost a fade in a way. Using your Wahl metal clips halfway open, you're going to be going up about 1 inch. Scooping out, always scooping out when you're making these guidelines. You don't want to make these guidelines too harsh. Now I'll be going in with my premium guard, 1 guard all the way open, and right when I get to the occipital bone, I'm scooping directly out, not trying to go too much into there. Now 1.5 guard all the way open, so a short 2. Just barely getting that little bit that I couldn't get with the 1.5. Remember, be mindful of the occipital bone, because if you go too much into that, you're gonna ruin the entire taper, and you basically will end up having a low fade. As you can see here, I'm holding my comb at a very angled right here. And I'm barely getting the little bits of hairs, and it's, you know, little by little it's coming together. Sorry guys if my hand gets in the way. Doing the recording all on my own, you know, so bear with me please. Cool, so you know, just getting the clip over comb just to get these little bits of hair that I don't feel comfortable going in with the guard, because I feel like the guard will take too much off, and you know, you could always cut more hair, you can't always put hair back on. Wanted to make this video, you guys, a little bit more lengthy as I did from the last one. You know, the last one was very short and I wasn't really able to speak much, and I'm slowly trying to find my voice for tutorials, you know. So right here we're going to be going in with the 0 guard, and it's going to be halfway open, and then now it's all the way open. Just lever play, blending that 1.5 open. Now I got the 1.5, and I'm barely using it just to scoop out just a little bit right where I did the last guide with the 1.5 open. Be taking out the bottom line now, you guys, with the Wahl metal magic clips. Opening and closing your lever. When I hear someone tell me that, you know, you gotta make straight lines, or it has to be all even all around, I mean, come on now. Nobody's head is perfectly round. Everybody has dips and everything, so you're gonna have to close the clipper and make some parts shorter than the others just to match. So right here, I'm gonna be using my fitting shears by Oster, just to thin it out just ever so slightly, not really taking too much off, but it's getting me that blend that I'm looking for, and that the blend that I know my client is looking for and likes. Cool, so we're gonna move on to the lineup now, and what I like to do for cutting waves when I'm doing a lineup is I like to actually get the hairline shorter than all of the actual hair. So right here I'm going in with the 1.5 with the grain all the way open, just barely trimming that hair down just so that it could lay down nice and flat for me. Turn the client towards the side that you're standing on, and for me, I always like to start in the middle. I'm not saying this is the right way, I'm not saying this is the wrong way, but this is the way I like to do my lineups. Short little strokes, you know, you guys, don't worry about trying to get the lineup perfect all on one shot, you know, especially with these type of waves. You're gonna have a lot of hangover. You're gonna have to constantly brush to double check and make sure that there's no long hair sticking out or anything. Sorry you guys that the camera is not focused in on the actual hairline and everything. It's focused in on my messed up tattoos. Yeah, man, I got that barber pole when I was about 15 years old, and that Chicago Bulls around the same time, and really regret getting them at a young age. Wish I would have waited to get them professionally done, because man, they are horrible. But if you know Breaking Bad, you can see that I have it on my wrist, you know. I'm from Albuquerque, and that's a big show, especially that it was filmed out here. Just wanted to show the love to that show. Alrighty, cool. So right here, we're just going to be going in on the other side. Same thing we did with the other side, you know. Starting from the middle, bringing it out to the right side of his edge up. And you can see here, I didn't really push his hairline back, you know. I'm getting it just right to what I know the client is wanting. I've been cutting his hair for a very, very long time. He's a good friend of mine, and you know, we tried out doing a fade with his waves and everything, and he didn't like it, so we went back to a taper. So
baby.
alright, cool. So right here I'm going to be using color enhancement to enhance his lineup. I'm going to be using just any kind of cardboard, you know, and Kiss Expressions mixed with alcohol, or what I like to use is aftershave, just so that it gives it a nice, pretty good smell, you know. Everybody always asks me how long does the color enhancement stay on, you know. It truthfully depends on the person. whether their skin's oily, whether they're dry, how active they are. But most of my clients all tell me that it lasts them up to 4 days. Sometimes I have some clients that last up to a week. And as you can see here, I'm not spraying directly straight onto his actual like hair. I'm actually spraying it at an angle, and that helps me blend it out a little more than having such a harsh line. You know, as it's a color enhancement. You know, so many people hate on it and have their own opinion, which, you know, that's cool. You know, you're entitled to your own opinion, but I mean, if the client likes it, why would you not provide that service for your client? You know, I've had so many people, young, old, and they'll have a receding hairline and they'll ask me to add that color, and I'll add it just right to where it doesn't look too unnatural. And you know, you should see their smile from ear to ear. They love it. Making sure you dust off your client. You know, I see I have a little bit of hair behind the ears. Make sure I get all that for the end of the video. Going back with the detailers just to touch it up, just to get the little hairs out of the way. So right here, we're going to be using the Humble by Barber Gabe Fades red straight razor. And for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to be lining them up at this angle. I usually lay them back and do the line up with the razor, but just for the purpose of the video, I'm going to be using them, doing it standing up. And again, I'm so sorry for the angles. I'm trying to get my own groove and trying to get my angles and everything right. So here's the finished look. If you guys like it, comment. If you guys don't, comment. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Instagram at GabeTheBarber9. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.